morning. It's 10 o'clock. Welcome to Lincoln Ware Live. Of course, we're here every Sunday morning from 10 until 11. And as usual, we've got some great guests lined up for you today. The first half of the show, we're going to talk to Professor Gene Kritsky from the Mount St. Joe, College of Mount St. Joseph. Going to talk, just when you thought the cicadas were gone for 17 years, guess what? They're back, and we'll tell you about when they're coming, where they're coming, and we might even show you some pictures of cicadas just to remind you of how nasty they look. And we'll talk about where they're coming, when they're coming, so you can beware for the invasion of the cicadas, and they're coming. And on the second half of the show, got the car doctor, William Berry, my good friend, the car doctor. With gasoline prices soaring, you want that car running in tip-top shape so that it won't burn any extra black gold. Texas tea, oil that is. I'm talking about gas. Oh yeah, with the price even getting closer to $4 a gallon, you need to have that car running in tip-top shape. So stay tuned for William Berry. He'll be answering all your questions, and he'll show you how some of the parts look. A lot of people don't know exactly what they're looking at when they raise the hood, and we'll show you right here on Lincoln Ware Live coming up. All right, first, my guest, Professor Gene Kritsky. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Fine, great to be here.
Cicadas, I thought, let's see, when were they here in full force last? A few years ago?
2004.
Okay, I thought after that, it's 17 years, and then we'll see them again. You say there's another invasion on the horizon.
That's right. The people that didn't enjoy them 4 years ago have an opportunity to see them this spring.
Now, will it be as many as in 2004?
In parts of Terrace Park, Milford, Batavia, Amelia, they can see large numbers of cicadas, of the equivalent of 200 per square yard coming out of the ground.
Me?
No, I'm not.
Now, why is it like this? You know, why you got a certain group that's coming back, and
well,
why is that?
We've got two distinct populations in Cincinnati, and indeed we probably have four. Two we're just discerning the distribution. And the brood that's come out this year is called brood 14, and the one that we had 4 years ago is brood 10. And they come out in adjacent populations because it turns out 14 is slowly turning into 10, and that's one of the neat things that's going on here in Cincinnati.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and we'll take your calls if you've got questions about cicadas, and we'll show you some frightening pictures of cicadas. You know, I hate the way they look. They just don't look right. We'll come right back, answer your questions right here on Lincoln Ware Live. Back in a moment. And we are back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program. We're talking to Professor Gene Kritsky from the College of Mount St. Joseph. Now, you're a biology professor. Now, how did you get into the cicada business?
Well, I'm actually a frustrated historian as well. And my undergraduate professor, Frank Young at Indiana University, started lecturing on the cicadas. I just went, whoa, these are so cool, because I could use evidence from history to figure out what's going on today. And so that just started it. And entomology is unlike, I say to my students, entomologists are scientists who work for a living. We want to protect food production, we want to protect our front yards, we want to get out and get dirty and do stuff. And so it's a very different scenario than a lot of my colleagues.
All right, 513-381-3838 or 513-651-3838 if you've got questions about cicadas. Now, can you hold up that shot, and we can get a shot of those cicadas? In case you forgot what they look like, we're going to get a shot of them right there. Yeah, there's those devils there.
Indeed, those are the parents of the cicadas emerging this year. I collected those in 1991 in Terrace Park.
Now, see, I can live with the cicadas. They don't bite, they don't sting or anything like that. The bees are what I have problems with. Now, we have a lot of bees this year. You know, sometimes when they say it rains a lot in the spring, then you got a lot of bees in the summer. Is that true, or how does that work? Or is it the opposite?
Well, it has to do with the fact that in the springtime we get a lot of flowers, and that brings out the bumblebees and the other bees for foraging. And those wild bees are of interest, but what's a real crisis this year is the decline of the honeybee. We're having a significant loss of bees in this country. And to put that in perspective economically, all of our apples and our melons and carrots and so on are bee pollinated. And it's a $16 billion industry of honeybee related food products. So if we lose our bees, our groceries are going to go up again even higher than they are now.
Wow. and the bees make honey. That's why honey is so high, I guess. You know, have anybody ever checked the price of honey?
It's getting up there in part because a lot of beekeepers can make more money by just taking their bees out to crops. For example, we cannot grow almonds without honeybees.
Okay.
And so we have, we call them migratory beekeepers. They'll take thousands of hives out to California just to pollinate the almonds.
Wow.
And then they move them up to Washington State for apples, then back across country to Maine for blueberries, and then back down south for cotton. And these bees are being routed all over the country to take care of our business, and they're not getting a lot of honey because of that. They're out there to pollinate primarily.
Now, what about the killer bees they're talking about coming in from South America?
They're already here. In fact, we had another death in the United States to the Africanized killer bee, as they were called back in the 80s. But these are bees that are native to Africa that were brought over to South America to breed with our docile bee that we have here in South America. And the goal was to try to find a bee that could produce a lot of honey and survive the hot temperatures that we find in Brazil. And the researcher who brought him in didn't tell his assistant not to release this particular device that kept the queen inside the hive. He released them, and they escaped.
Oh boy.
And the native bees in South America are stingless. So people would see all these bees in the tree, they'd climb the tree and steal the honey, and these would get stung thousands of times in a matter of seconds. And the result was a number of deaths the first year, and including deaths of cattle and horses and dogs.
And a lot of people are allergic to just a regular bee sting, and they get stung, and it's a problem.
That's true. Indeed, we have more deaths in this country yearly to bee stings than we do snake bites.
Wow.
And that's because of the allergy that you just mentioned.
Okay, let's go to the telephones. 513-381-3838, 513-651-3838. We'll get them together there. We're talking cicadas, we're talking bees, and they're on the way. Let's go to James. James, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Lincoln. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I have a question. We used to have them 4 years ago. I remember the 17-year cicadas came out, and I thought that was the only real gestation period they had. But now, what's going on with this type of strain? Is there a different type of strain of them, or what's going on in that? Because we live now in Bond Hill up by Woodward High School, and do they know what area they're going to be at, or you know what's going on with that?
Okay. We just announced the areas, but we'll let him go over the areas again. Thanks for your call. What were the areas once again?
Sure. We're going to be looking primarily at areas bordering I-71, a little bit west, and it's mostly east of there, particularly hard in Milford, Terrace Park, Marymount, in that area. The Madeira-Kenwood area is of prime interest to us because and you know you're a geek when you do this. I actually mapped out specific trees in 1991 where the cicadas laid their eggs, and those trees had cicadas emerge 4 years early. And one of the neat things about Cincinnati is that we're actually seeing how the cicada populations shift over time, and it's only been because my predecessors and someone like me and the good citizens of Cincinnati have been telling me what's going on in their front yards, that we're seeing the real dynamic. We now have a good sense about how they count the years. We didn't have that before. But and as to the question, we had cicadas 4 years ago, and that was brood 10. We'll have cicadas this year that's brood 14. They're adjacent populations. We also have a brood 22, which is a 13-year cicada that's out in Claremont County. And then we have, we'll know in 2017, but this in the year 2000, I predicted an unusual accelerated emergence of cicadas that occurred. Had a wonderful phone call from a woman in Wyoming who said, "Why are all the cicadas in my front yard?" And I didn't believe her, of course, but my students and I drove out there, and they were in her front yard. And all the cicadas, only a few started coming up, but they congregated in what we called chorusing centers. And when cicadas come out off cycle, they usually get eaten by birds pretty quickly. These cicadas were in such numbers, they were singing, they were mating, they were laying eggs. We went back and monitored her yard, and indeed that whole neighborhood, and found that the cicadas successfully reproduced. Now, if they shift back to 17 years, which we expect, that means in the year 2017, we'll have another large emergence in Wyoming and indeed several parts of greater Cincinnati, which will be the first time we will have ever witnessed the origin of a whole new cicada population.
Wow.
And so it's like, I can't wait.
Now, are they any good? Can you use them for anything? Bait? Do they work for bait or what? Can you use them for anything? Are they, useful?
Well, they're quite useful. People do report that they're very helpful for bait, for fishing. But their ecological importance is amazing. Let's take it when they come out at this time of year. They come out of these big, fat holes in the ground. I think we have a picture of that. These holes about the size of the big pencils I used in first grade. I'm probably dating myself. That provides a natural aeration to the soil. And the water is able to flow down those holes to get to the roots a little better. When we had a drought like last year, that's beneficial.
Now we're watching a picture.
There's the holes from that. Indeed, that photograph was taken 17 years ago, and you can see there's several of these. A heavy population would have about 200 per square yard, and indeed there are parts of Terrace Park that I expect those kind of numbers. The next picture shows what comes out of the hole. That's the young nymphal cicada that comes out usually after the soil reaches 64 degrees Fahrenheit. And a scoop for your show this morning, we now have enough data to predict when in May that's likely to occur. And it looks like they will emerge on May the 11th, plus or minus 2 days. So possibly May 9th through May 13th, we're going to see all these cicadas start coming out in good numbers.
And you call that the what cicada?
The nymph.
Okay, now that's immature. The female, I guess?
That's actually the immature.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Both males and the females look like that. They climb up a tree like you're seeing with this one.
When you say nymph, I visualize something else. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I guess. And then they eventually transform into an adult, and that's what the next picture shows. And the next picture shows the adult cicada emerging from that nymphal shell, and that's that milky white cicada with their bright red eyes, as you see there. It pulls itself out of that shell and then hangs upside down and slowly develops into the mature adult cicada, which we see on the next picture. That will show the red eyes and the yellow, orange tinged wings and the black body. And
what's is the singing, that's the mating call?
It's basically a mating call. Only the males sing.
Okay.
In fact, at the risk of offending people, there was an old Greek poem that said, "Happy are cicada lives, for they have silent wives."
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not just quoting it from history, so don't call it.
That's a good one.
The males get together in chorusing centers and they sing. And I've measured this in 2004. We measured areas of 96 decibels.
I know, they can get pretty
And to put that,
loud.
for comparison, jets flying overhead into the airport at Mount St. Joe, we were registering at 80 decibels. So they were loud enough to drown out the jets going to the airport.
All right, let's go to Lenore. Lenore, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Lincoln. How are you?
Pretty good.
I had a dream, it's been a little while back, about the cicadas, and I dreamt that they came out with teeth, and they were biting. They were called cicadas from hell. So I hope that we don't get that. They were terrible. They were eating people up and everything. And my dreams do come true, so I just hope this is one dream that won't come true.
Well, the cicadas will come out, but they won't eat people. That's for certain.
Well, let's hope that in the future they don't eat.
Oh, in the future. That's
for one of those Japanese movies.
No.
Monster movies.
They were called cicadas from hell. So let's hope that they don't.
Well, we got a picture of the mouth part. Let's look at the mouth and see if you just see if, how they look when they eat people. Thanks for your call, Lenore. Do we have a picture of the actual mouth
of
the cicada?
The next picture that we had was another adult, but there it is. There's the picture looking straight on into their beautiful red eyes, and you can see the pupil effect from the light going to their eyes. That sort of rib structure between the eyes is the pump that they use to suck plant juices, and you can see the sucking mouth parts. That dark structure that's between the front legs is indeed the sucking mouth parts.
Oh boy. Regina, how are you?
Good morning, Lincoln. Greetings to you and your guest. Does this global warming has anything to do with this soon-to-be pestilence that is going to be upon certain areas in the city? And Lincoln, I know you don't want to hear it, but if people would check the Holy Scriptures, they'll see and read about the different prophecies of pestilence, and that's all I see it as, is the work of the Creator coming to fulfillment, because He tells us His word is not going to come back void.
Okay.
Not trying to preach, just trying to, you all looking at it from scientific.
Like Sunday school this morning.
Well, it's not Sunday school, it's true. Okay. I mean, you can look at it from scientific all you want to, but I'm going to look at it from what the mouth of Yah said, and people just open your Holy Scriptures, and you will see. Okay. And you'll know what to do. That's all I'm trying to do, Lincoln.
All right, Regina,
shalom. All right, be blessed. Shalom.
Thanks for your call.
Well, the interesting thing about the global warming impact that Regina just mentioned, cicadas historically usually emerge around the 28th and 29th of May. And for the last 3-4 emergencies now, they're emerging almost 2 weeks earlier. Okay. So like the flowers, like the Adelaide penguins, everything else, they are responding to increasing temperatures. Okay. Now, what the cause of that is a whole different story. But with due respect to your caller, the cicadas do a lot of good. In addition to aerating the soil, they provide a lot of food for animals when they come out.
Oh boy, they do. I mean, dogs eat them. Everybody eats them.
Yes. You know? And what's missing in a lot of people is that when they lay their eggs, that damage that we see to the trees turns out to be beneficial to the tree. There was a great paper published in 1894 that said, "Out of evil cometh plenty." And it was a story that found that after a cicada emergence, it's like a natural pruning in the trees. And the following year, the flower set, the fruit set was greater. Cherry orchards were just reporting incredible yields. And then when they die, they put nutrients back in the soil. And then while they're growing over the 17 years, they're trapping those nutrients from being leached away. So they aren't a pestilence at all. They're indeed quite beneficial to our ecology.
Well, almost everything is of some use. You think for some reason nature has a use for everything.
That's true.
All right, well, before we go to break, let's take one more quick call. Let's go to Mary. Mary, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Well, that's good. Finally, you're doing good. Normally, I'm so.
Well, I'm trying to copy off of you.
Oh, okay.
You're doing good and you're looking good.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing to copy.
Well, I want to know if they have a a bug thing for the cicadas, a bug.
Oh, you mean a repellent or something?
Right.
Nah, what do you need a repellent for?
Because I don't want them on me, and they land on you and make you wreck your car. I had one in my car when they was here before, and I saved one. I got one in a couple of them in a little paper thing.
Oh boy! Just like the professor here. What use do you have for the cicadas? Why would you save a cicada?
Well, I liked them. I just didn't want them on me, and they make odd noise, mating noise and things. They'd be real loud. I thought that was odd. They way of congregating.
All right, Mary, I gotta go.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your call. Unbelievable. We'll take a quick break and then we'll come back and talk more cicadas. And don't forget the second half of the show, the car doctor, William Berry, my guest, right here on Lincoln Ware Live. Stick around. Don't go anyplace. We'll be back in a moment. We're back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program, and we're talking cicadas. Professor Gene Kritsky from the College of Mount St. Joseph with us this morning. And you've got a book out on cicadas also.
Actually, I have two. The one is In Ohio's Backyard, Periodical Cicadas. And that is a book written primarily for students and people who want to learn about cicadas with their kids. It's part of a great series from the Ohio Biological Survey. And then the other one is the Periodical Cicadas, the Plague and the Puzzle. And that's a technical review of all cicada history and everything you want to start knowing about with these things to start your own research. And you can go to the Mount St. Joe Cicada website at www.msj.edu/cicada, and you can find out ordering information. But also, what I'm hoping that your viewers will do will be to email us when they see them, and there'll be a map reporting system there. It's critical. In 2004, we had over 1,700 citizens from Cincinnati email us with cicada information.
And we've got a map of the areas that will be affected by the cicadas, and we want to throw that map up and see if we can get a shot of that map. And while we find that map, let's go to Erica. Erica, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I wanted to know, is there anything you can spray in the yard to keep the cicadas from emerging?
There's nothing you can spray to keep them from emerging. If you want to do that, what you need to do is round up your entire lawn before the eggs hatch. That means you have to mow the grass and it kills all the grass. But basically, there's nothing that we can get into the soil to get down deep enough to stop the cicadas. And even though there are a couple pesticides that are labeled for cicadas, they're not recommended in part because you've got to have a contact on the cicada. If you really can't stand them, there's a couple things you can do, and that's come over to the west side of town. We're not going to have them this year.
Now, Erica lives in Silverton.
In Silverton?
And so she might see a few.
She's going to be right on the border. In 1991, Silverton had a really good emergence, and they had a few come out 4 years ago. And for every cicada that you saw in Silverton 4 years ago is one fewer cicada for this year.
Well, we've already seen the holes in the yard.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, well, they're coming.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for your call. Now, can we put that map up again? We had it up briefly. And there we go. Now this is a map of now the blue means what? That's
the blue is where we've had historical reports of cicadas in the past, and we have records now of brood 14 cicadas going back to 1634.
Okay.
The Pilgrim saw them in Massachusetts, and the oldest Ohio record is 1804, and that's in Broward County. And so it's important to know when these things come out and where they come out, because there are apple growers and orchardists can have some economic loss for these, but otherwise it's an intriguing biological problem for us.
All right. Well, I tell you what, I never expected the cicadas to come back this early, and people who live up in, my mother-in-law lives up in Milford, so they'll have them in their yard. So I'll give her the warning and tell her when it's no fluke when she sees a bunch of cicadas out in front of the yard.
That's right.
So they're coming. So folks, prepare. There's really nothing you can do but just live with them.
And enjoy them. People don't celebrate certain anniversaries, and a cicada year is special. And they'll always remember that when they come back. They link generations.
All right. Well, Professor Kritsky, I want to thank you for joining me this morning, and it's been very interesting. One quick question. One person wanted to know, are cicadas, do they affect the lawnmower? Are they affected by noises from the lawnmower and things like that?
Yes, there's certain Briggs & Stratton lawnmowers that when they're powered up, sound like a chorusing center, and a number of cicadas fly into the lawnmower, thinking they're missing out on a big gathering of males.
Okay. And how long will they be here once they arrive?
The average cicada lasts about a month, but it takes 2 weeks for them all to come out. So we'll see them probably starting around the 11th of May, and they'll be gone by the last week of June.
All right. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and we'll talk to William Berry, the car doctor, and we'll get that car tuned up and ready to take on the high gas prices. They're approaching $4 a gallon, folks. I'm telling you. We'll be back in a moment. We are back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program, and of course we're here every Sunday morning. And this morning, a good friend of mine that used to work on the radio station with me, Brother William Berry, we called him the car doctor. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Lincoln. I appreciate you having me here.
It's good to have you here.
Yes.
I tell you, with the high price of gas, people need to have those cars running in tip-top shape, because you want every mile you can get out of that gasoline.
You do.
I bought gas yesterday and it was up around 360.
365. That's what
unbelievable. And it's not. We still have a month left before Memorial Day gets here.
Yes.
So now a lot of people think they're shade tree mechanics. Everybody. The day of the shade tree mechanic is over.
But people are still trying to use them to save money, and then they end up coming to me to repair the car, and it costs more money. And this is the problem we're having. Anybody can take a part off and put another one on, but you can spend $500 changing parts when you could have went there the first time and saved yourself a lot of money. People do not understand that.
All right, if you've got questions about your car, maybe it's doing something, and maybe we can analyze it here or hit you in the right direction. Give us a call at 513-381-3838 or 513-651-3838 if you're having problems with your car. We've got the car doctor here, and he'll give you the prescription to get your car well. How about that? All right, now, what's the most common thing a person can do, the easiest thing they can do to get some extra gas mileage?
Keep it tuned up. Change the oil. I know we use the word, I don't use the word tune up, I say engine performance, because we have a lot of electronic devices, and it's not always the spark plug. People, I just put some plugs in there. What about the wires? What about the coil? If it's not getting enough spark, what about the fuel pump? Now, they have to be so accurate. If you're off a little bit, you're in trouble. For instance, if it's 15 PSI and you 12, that's bad. That's bad. And of course, people drive until they stop. Then they panic. I gotta have my car to go to work. So they want us to be magicians overnight. Well, parts are hard to get, Lincoln. The parts department are not stocking parts, so they have to order it, and it takes sometimes 2 and 3 days, unless you want to pay that extra expense of gas to overnight it. See? And of course, I don't know where we're going to go with these gas prices, but I tell people to go to your regular gas station. Don't go to the off-brands. That's all I can say about that.
Now, go ahead.
No.
Well, tell me this. What about, you hear a rash of catalytic converters being stolen.
Yes.
Now, what of use, okay, how will you know if somebody steals your catalytic converter?
Yes.
Will you know, will it sound different?
It will sound like a truck.
Okay.
And the FBI is investigating this because there's a rash of them right here in Cincinnati, Ohio.
And why are they stealing them? What?
Because of the petroleum on the inside. They get high dollar for that. And they come to my shop, we'll give you high dollar for whatever you got. I don't do cats, and that stops that. There's one shop here in Cincinnati, they took 23.
Wow.
They came in and cut them off, and it doesn't take but about 5 minutes or less. Then you start up your car, you have no catalytic converter, no exhaust.
And those things are expensive.
Very, very, very expensive, $300 and $400.
All right, let's go to the telephones. If you've got questions for the car doctor, let's see. The only lines that are available now, 651-3838. 651-3838 if you want to jump on any of those lines. Let's start off with Lisa this morning. Lisa, how are you?
Good morning, Lincoln. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Good morning to your guests.
Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. I have a question. You said I can ask about car issues that I have?
Yes.
Okay. I have a 94 Mazda. When
Mazda?
the weather gets, Mazda 66. When it gets hot outside, I turn the car over, and it idles very high. It won't be in drive or anything, and it'll idle to like 2. And in the wintertime, it idles at 1 like it's supposed to. When I'm driving the car, say, for 10, 15 minutes, the car will start to idle even higher. I'll come to a complete stop in drive and take my foot off the pedal, and the car will take off like I've given it some gas already.
Okay.
I'm thinking thermostat. I'm not sure. Is there any suggestions you can give me on that?
No, not the thermostat. You see, what is happening here is the vehicle is working on its own. The gas goes down through the exhaust from the piston, from the cylinder down through the exhaust. You have oxygen sensors.
Okay.
You have what we call a throttle position sensor, which I have over here. It's an electronic device. It gets stuck.
Yep. Okay.
And sometimes the mass airflow sensor has to be cleaned out.
Gotcha.
And so you can't do this on your own because you can't use harsh chemicals on these parts. Now the oxygen sensor is the first one to go out, and if they tell you with the scanner that they said, well, cylinder 2 isn't operating, or cylinder 4 is not operating properly, it's a misfire, and it's usually in the line with the cat, or there's a plug out, or the wires.
Okay, so what does she tell the guy when she takes her car into the shop? What does she tell him to look for?
Tell him that it's idling extremely high. So the TPS, throttle position sensor.
So he'll put it on the computer to find out exactly why he's doing that.
Yes.
He'll probably have to let it get cold, I guess. Do they have to let it cool off to find out?
No. See, we have a thing called open loop and closed loop. Now, open loop is when the car first starts up, and as it gets warm, it closes up, so the oxygen sensor and all these other electrical devices are warm now. They start operating. They don't operate when you first start the car, you see. And a lot of people get in the car and they go. That's a bad thing, especially if you're running late for work. That's a bad thing.
So how long should you wait there? Okay, just say it's not, 0 degrees. Just say it's about 40 degrees outside. You get in your car, you start up. How long should she wait before she puts it in drive?
I would say about a minute or two. Because,
that's what I do, yeah.
Excuse me?
That's what I do. I wait for it to idle back down to 1 before I even put it in gear.
But guess what? In your situation, it's idling so fast, you're using more gasoline.
Right.
And when you use more gasoline, that's more money coming out of your pocket.
So you need to get that fixed. There's probably some type of sensor that she needs
Yes. Get that fixed immediately.
Thank you so much.
Lisa, thanks for your call.
Have a good day.
All right. Let's move along. Now, you had some parts you wanted to show us before we go to some other calls here. Every line is, we have maybe 2 lines available. One line at 381-3838 and one line at 651-3838. What are we looking at?
In my hand, fuel pumps. This is a fuel pump. This is a fuel pump. They come in various sizes. This one is very expensive.
What is that out of?
This is out of a General Motors automobile.
Okay.
This one is out of an older General Motors automobile, like an 87.
This sits at the bottom of your gas tank.
Yes, and this collapses when you put it in, you see, That's how it goes in. Now you have to be aware of those that, I can put a fuel pump in. See, this controls your gas level. Okay. And if you don't put that in right, it might stay on full.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And you don't know how much gas you got. And this is a filter. And this is hard as a rock. And the gasoline goes up through here, filters through. But now you get gas with water in it. Sometimes it's not that water, somebody's pouring water in the gas tank, the condensation. And they're supposed to measure that. And what happens is you're supposed to get better gas mileage with less water. But the way things are now, it's kind of hard.
Now, so this tells you whether this measures your fuel level.
That's
now,
right.
When that thing gets on E,
it's down here.
How much time do you have to go? I
Well,
mean,
now,
certain cars, me, that little light comes on, says fuel. I can go a few more miles.
Oh yes. But see, there's a
it's
baffle.
not always a good thing to do.
There's a baffle inside the tank where this fits at, and the whole tank. And when it gets out of that baffle, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and then you don't want to let it get on E because you get all that grains and
true.
Nasty fuel, and that stuff settles at the bottom, and that could cause you more problems. Now this is dirty fuel.
Dirty fuel, and there's some little things in the bottom which we can't see, but they get hard and dry, and we have to clean out the tank every time we replace the fuel pump.
So it's not a good thing to let your tank get empty.
No, go down to, I've been telling my customers, go down to a quarter of a tank and go back up. Don't fill it up.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now, it costs $50, $60 to $100 to fill it up.
But if you don't fill it up, you're still gonna have to replace it.
Well,
one question it seem like when you fill your tank up, it seems for some reason that F stays on so long, and you get more. It seems like your gas lasts longer
if
when
you're
you fill
using the better gas.
Yeah.
See, we go, it's cheaper over here. Let's go over here. We don't know how good that gas is, and it costs us poop, 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 chug-a-lugging, more gas. Now it stops. I have a customer now that has a tank full of bad gas.
Oh boy!
And she's upset.
And so you have to take the tank off, drain the gas.
You drain it, take it off, and a warning to people that think they can steal gas. It doesn't work anymore. They have a little ball down in there, so whatever you put down in there, it's going to stop it.
Oh, okay.
So the only way you can get that gas out is to take the tank off and turn it upside down.
Oh,
so you don't have to worry about nobody stealing your gas. Now, if you got the older car, that's different.
But the newer cars,
no, you can't. You can't do that.
All right, let's go to Charles. Charles, good morning. You're on Lincoln Ware Live. How are you? Charles.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to your guests.
Good morning, Charles.
My cousin has a 1997 Buick LeSabre.
Yes, sir.
And they just put a new fuel pump in it. And it, when you turn the key, you can normally hear it hum. But the dealer said that he has a fuse. The fuse might be bad. I'm trying to find out where the fuse is located.
All right, you have a fuse and you have a relay. You look in the fuse box and it will say fuel. You look under the hood and that box and it will say relay. It'll say fuel pump relay. Now, if you own a Ford, they have numbers, and if you don't have the book, I tell people to keep that manual. Even if you sell the car, keep that manual with it, because that way you can do your own. I love people that can do their own work. And it's got a number. I don't even know what that number is. I have to go to the book.
So he looks in the book, find the number of the relay or the fuel.
And check the fuse. Probably a 15 or 20 amp, probably a 15 amp, 10 or 15 amp. And then the relay. Now, it's hard to check a relay. You can't do that by yourself.
Okay, now this is a Buick.
A Buick, it has a relay. It has a relay.
Okay, now you say it's under the hood?
It's under the hood. Probably in that little black box. But now, when you turn the key on, is the fuel coming up? You hear it go,
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not humming anymore.
All right. Now, was it humming when you first put it in?
No.
Okay. There's a possibility you might have a bad fuel pump. I hate to tell you that.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I try to get those from the dealer only. Because if you got a bad one, they'll give you another one free.
Hold on just a minute. What did you say?
Get the fuel pump from the dealer only. And if it's a bad one, they will give you another one free.
Why would they give? Oh, you mean you bought? He said. Okay,
if he bought it aftermarket.
Okay.
See, he's got a General Motors, should be AC Delco. But you go to Joe Blow and get it. Sure, they might give you another one. They might not.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for your call, Charles.
Thank you.
Let's go to Carol. Carol, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I had just purchased a brand new Mazda CX-7.
Yes.
And I hadn't had it for a year yet. and the turbocharger went out of there, and I took it back to the dealership, and they put a new turbocharger in there, but the car is still not sounding right. In the wintertime, I let my car sit about 10 or 15 minutes to warm up, and I get that exhaust smoke come out, and I be driving, and I still see that exhaust smoke, and pretty much for about, I say about 10 or 15 minutes, and by the time I get to work, I still see that exhaust smoke coming out. Should I still be seeing that exhaust smoke coming out every time I stop at a light or something?
No, you should not. Yes, you're under warranty. Take it back.
Okay,
Please
yes,
take it back.
Yes, I'm under warranty and everything. I keep hearing this saying, but the car is not sounding right. And I keep telling them that, but they keep telling me there's nothing wrong with the car. Can something be clogged up, like a water built in or something?
Well, have they seen the exhaust coming out of your car?
Right. They say they don't see anything.
Well,
they say they don't see anything. They told me that, well, we can't drive your car very long because we have other cars that we have to drive, have to work on. And with my car, and I keep telling them this, but they say they don't see anything, but I see it, and and I see
to another Mazda dealer.
Absolutely.
That's why I take it to the Mazda dealer.
Another one. I mean, how many have you taken it to?
Well, I had took it to the one in Cincinnati. I took the one over in Florence. I took it to 2 different Mazda places.
Oh, okay, and they tell you the same thing.
They tell me the same thing too, but this is a brand new car, and I was wondering, other people tell me it may be like water built up in when they put that turbocharger in there. They may not put the turbocharger in there right because the car don't sound right.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. In that book you have, there's an 800 number. You call them immediately, and they will call that dealership. Trust me, they're on top of it, but you have to call that 800 number.
Is it the Mazda headquarters?
Yes,
okay,
it's in California.
I deal with the Mazda headquarters already. They're telling me to take it back to the Mazda place. I'm going back and forth with this car situation that is not sounding right. This is a brand new car.
This is the reason, and there is a lemon law.
I did the lemon law already. I went through an arbitrator already and everything. They don't see anything wrong with the car, so I must be crazy then.
No, you're not crazy. You take it back, and you tell them you want another vehicle.
I did tell her. They told me they couldn't give me another vehicle.
Yes, they can.
I went through an arbitrator already. I've been to court with them about 2 weeks ago, and they told me they cannot give me a car.
Yes, they can.
They denied my...
already gone to court.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
The dealer can give you another vehicle, and it has to come from California. They will tell them to give you another vehicle. They don't want an unhappy customer. You see, the judges here, I don't know how many of them know about automobiles, see? But
I'm taking it back to the dealership tomorrow again because it's not sounding right.
Call California. Excuse me. Call California. There's an 800 number. Call them, get a name and a number, and you tell them that you're going to sue Mazda. I hate to say that. And watch them move. Have an attorney write them, watch them move. Trust me.
All right. Hey, thanks for your call.
Okay, thank
Carol.
you.
Okay. Boy, that's a dilemma she's in. Let's take a quick break, then we'll come back and take more of your calls. Lincoln Ware Live. I got the car doctor, and he's here to fix your car, to give you the prescription that'll make your car run smoother and save gas. Back in a moment. And we're back live. Lincoln Ware Live is the program. My guest this morning, William Berry, the car doctor. And let's go back to the telephones. Every line is busy. I tell you, that means that everybody's having problems with their cars here. Every single line we have in the station is busy. Goodness. Jones, how you doing? Is that James or Jones? Looks like Jones. Jones is not there, so let's go to Kelly. Kelly, how are you?
Good morning, Lincoln.
How you doing?
I'm good. Good morning, car doctor.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a female. I don't know nothing about cars. But I have an 89 Buick. It's been shut down for about a month and a half. I thought it was the starter. I messed with bootleg dudes. So he tapped the starter, and he said that it's a possibility it could be the motor. So can you tell me?
First of all, leave those bootleg mechanics alone.
I know, Lee.
And your car is what, almost 20 years old?
But it's a good car, no rust spots. It runs beautiful if the right person touches it.
Okay, the problem with that is he misdiagnosed it.
Okay.
Now, how can it go from a starter to a motor?
I don't know. It stopped on the street one day. I pushed it into the gas station. I thought it was gas, but it didn't need no gas. So I don't know. It don't turn over. It don't click. It don't do nothing.
It doesn't do anything. The first thing I would do you have horn? Do you have lights?
All that works. Windows roll down. Everything. The battery.
Okay, it doesn't take much for the windows and the radio. But that battery and the alternator is important.
Okay.
A charge light on? Is there a charge light on?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the charging system, not the starter. That's the battery or the alternator. They have to be checked. There's a piece of equipment that you can check that with. The first thing we do is charge the battery. Then when we get it running, then we can check the alternator.
Okay.
You see, 12.5 to 14 to 15 amps, depending on the vehicle.
Right.
And we have a piece of equipment that will tell us that.
Okay.
And if that light's on, that's your charging system, not your starting system.
When's the last time you put a battery in there?
Last year.
Okay.
Okay.
Batteries should be.
Okay, so how would I know if it was the motor?
No. Let's forget motor. Now, did you have oil in it?
Yeah.
Well, our engine will not run without oil, like we cannot breathe without blood.
Right.
So, where's your shop? Where's your shop?
My shop is 3523 Woodford Road in the Kennedy Heights, Pleasant Ridge area.
Right. Okay.
961-6000 is the phone number.
I have one more question. Do you the climate control box with this warm weather, you know, gas happens, you still might want to turn your air conditioner. It doesn't work. I think I got a bad box.
Now, did you turn your air conditioner on during the winter time?
The heat?
The air conditioning.
No.
Okay, when I was on Lincoln's program at the Buzz, I told everybody in the winter time to turn the air conditioning on for a few minutes. I mean, not while the car is cold. It's you riding it, turn it off, switch it over. It lubricates the parts. That Freon escape, the path of least resistance, it's gone. And especially if you have a slow leak, you know, there are people that every year they have to fill their, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. Keep it lubricated, keep it oiled up.
So you probably need Freon.
Possibility Freon. Or it could be she's got one of those hoses that are leaking.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, looks like, you know, 20 years old and you having all these problems. It might be cheaper for you just to get another car. 20 years old. Come on.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for your call. All right. Let's go to, let's see, Beatrice.
Hello?
Yes, how you doing?
Hi, Lincoln. This is Ventress.
Oh, Ventress. Okay, how you doing?
This is your makeup person at CET when you come there, so you know who I am.
When you come where?
To CET. When you come to CET, I take care of you.
Oh, it's over at Channel 48.
You're right. This is Ventress.
Okay, I remember you now.
Okay, I have a question for the Mr. Barry. How are you, by the way?
I am fine. How were you this morning?
Okay, I have a 2.7 liter engine in this Chrysler Sebring.
Yes.
Which river should I throw it in first?
Chrysler's?
Because they have not put a recall on this engine, but I sued Chrysler.
And
they offered me a portion of payment, but it wasn't enough that I was going to accept it.
Okay.
So
and you know, you're not the only person that I know with the Chrysler Sebring that's had some problems.
What you should do in Cincinnati, I don't have the number available, but you call the State Highway Patrol, and they have all the recalls. I can't think of that number offhand, and they have the recalls, and they'll tell you what's recalled on your vehicle.
The State Highway Patrol?
Yes, they got an office that they take care of that.
Okay.
The one out in, is it Forest Park area, out in that area where the State Highway Patrol is?
I'm not sure where
Wherever it's at, they have an office that they can take care of that. And they give you all the recalls. Because, you know, if you go back to the dealer, they're going to say, oh, we don't know about that. And as soon as the warranty's over, then they know about it. You know, and I'm not putting down dealers now, you know, but it seems to, like that lady's been back to Mazda. Now, as soon as her warranty's over, then they can fix her car. See?
Well, I've done that, and I've also reached the impartial services who's handling Chrysler's case to try to get me not to sue?
You might have to have a legal mouthpiece. See, if they
Okay.
gave you a portion of it, they should give you the rest or give you another engine.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to make them do and not pay me partial money.
Okay.
Because this is my second car that I've dealt with this problem with.
Chrysler?
Chrysler.
Oh, you love Chryslers, okay.
No, I don't love Chryslers, but, you know,
All
it's
right.
a vehicle.
Well, thanks for your call.
All right, thank
I
you.
hope things work out for
I
you.
hope so, too.
And like I said, yeah, I know some other people that's had problems with those Sebrings.
Sebrings,
there.
yes.
Let's go to Messer. Messer, how are you?
Sir, I got a question now, if you can help me.
Your phone is breaking up real quick.
Get off loudspeaker here, go in the other room.
Oh, my goodness. I wish I had time for you to do all that, but I got to go. We're just about out of time. But people need to call you. What's the number?
At 961-6000, and we will try to take care of them.
All right. William Berry, the car doctor. Where's your office?
3523 Woodford Road.
All right.
In the Kennedy Heights area.
Good to see you, car
Nice to
doctor.
see you again.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yes, and hopefully we'll be back at the Buzz real soon.
All right.
You know, we're working on it.
All righty. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back to wrap things up right here on Lincoln Ware Live. We'll come back and give you the rundown of the schedule of the rest of the day here on It's 38, right here on Lincoln Ware Live. Back in a moment. Coming up today, there we go. Coming up today at noon on It's 38, Chenoa Maxwell in Cold Feet. That's at noon today, right here on It's 38. A rebroadcast of this show, hey, tonight at 8 o'clock on WOTH, Channel 25. Rebroadcast of this show. Tonight at 9 on Channel 25, David Baranas stars in These Girls. That's at 9 o'clock tonight, following the rebroadcast of this show at 8 o'clock on Channel 25. Don't forget, check me out on 1230 The Buzz, Monday through Friday from 10 till 2. And if you want to see, download, or if you want to watch this online, watch this show online, just go to WBQC.com, and you'll see all the past episodes of Lincoln Ware Live. That's going to wrap it up for me. We'll see you next Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, right here on It's 38.